Ses geliyor mu Asena Hanım?
Geliyor hocam, sesiniz geliyor, sıkıntı yok.
Evet. Good morning everybody.
Good morning, Professor.
How are you, Rashmi?
I am fine. I am fine.
Good.
How are you?
I'm fine as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, and welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to everyone. And Rashmi, we can begin, I think.
Wait. Our few people are going to join. Say to technical man to message me password and ID because our vice chancellor chief guest is not able to join, so he need ID and password. I have messaged him.
You can join with this link, I think.
He is not able to join, so he want ID and password. He has ID and password. Ask him.
Let's ask to Mr. Sardar.
And give him name of our speakers so he can make everybody to co-host. So those who want to present their presentation, they can easily share their screen, right? Okay, join.
Good morning, good afternoon, Professor Rashmi.
Did they join?
Yes.
Okay.
Riddhi? Riddhi?
Yes, we are ready.
Wait. Riddhi, are you here? शारू, रिद्धि कहाँ है? रिद्धि को बोलो ज्वाइन करे, उसको स्टार्ट करना। देख, मेरे को तो दिख नहीं रही है, देखना तुम उसको बोलो और फिर स्टार्ट कर दे वो आके। रिद्धि ज्वाइन नहीं हुई है तो फोन
Şu anda katılamayan bazı katılımcılar ya da sunum yapacak olan keynote speaker'lar var hocam. Ondan dolayı bekleniyor. Raşmi başlatacak. Yani başlatacak dediğim bir öğrenci var. O moderatör gibi bir sunum yapacak ve arkasından bizler giriş yapacağız. Bilginiz olsun. Onu bekliyoruz şu anda.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you from the terrible noise.
I don't know how can I design and do it better. I will help from technical personnel a few minutes later. I think now I have to do firstly in this voice. I'm so sorry.
No issue, because technology is, we have a pro and cons both. So if due to technology we all are here, so we have to face this also.
How is it now?
Still there is a echo sound.
रुक दूसरा वाला दे रही हूँ.
There is a echo sound with So I will advise to Professor Rashmi, you can move on and she can speak or that part can be taken later on. If
Okay, sir.
other voice are clear, if others speakers' voice are clear.
Okay, sir, I'm taking.
Dear Rashmi, now how is it, dear Mehmet Hocam?
It's
How is it
superb
my?
now. It's okay. It's
Okay.
good. Yes.
Thank you so much for your help.
Okay.
And now I want to begin. If everybody is
जाके
okay.
देखना फटाफट.
Dear colleagues, dear students, and all participants, welcome to our International Conference of Technology Changes feature, which will start today and last for 3 days. We aim to understand how the technology is developing with all fields and what kind of differences are happening. We know that all fields are affected from technological developments and changes. So Ictcf idea comes to our minds. We design it as a multidiscipliner because technology changes our lives, fields, and future. Our conference will be colorful with presentations from many different countries in many different fields and will contribute to the development of the vision of each of us. In this context, I would like to thank all our participants in advance for their contributions. Before leaving the world, I want you to watch Suez trailer. Let's watch. Mr. Sardar, help us, please. Sardar Hocam, destek verirseniz seviniriz.
Every new day starts with hopes, starts with new journeys. Life is a journey to hope, a journey to future, a journey to science. With the connections of important land routes, railway and sea routes of Turkey, Sakarya serves as the gateway of Europe to Anatolia, Asia and Middle East. Thanks to its geopolitical position and productive structure, Sakarya is developing in industry, agriculture and tourism day by day. Significant advancements are coming to light in many sectors such as defense, automotive, textile, agriculture, health, food and sports. It is highly important to train the qualified labour force and fulfil the need in our country, which is among the greatest economies of the world and has the vision to rise to top 10. It should be known that the competition between countries is on the level of knowledge, and the future of societies gets value with the success of the education given. In this respect, besides being the science-producing centres, universities also have the responsibility of being the institutions which fulfil the need of qualified labour force of the country. Sakarya University of Applied Sciences, which uses the university industry and sector cooperation effectively, stands in the centre of these needs and expectations. Sakarya University of Applied Sciences was founded in 2018, having the mission of training professionally competent individuals having the know-how through developed projects and education models and producing science, technology and service in universal quality. With the +1 training model, the university and its Institute of Master Studies, faculties, schools and vocational schools is preparing the students for the future with the sector, having the motto, "Not without the fieldwork." Our university, which does works matching Turkey's national technology, powerful industry vision, has been working on university industry cooperation, digitalization and local production as well. In this respect, our university has been updating the curriculums according to the conditions of present and future with the sector. In addition, with the Industry Doctorate Programme started by TÜBİTAK, our university has been applying the scientific studies in order to solve the problems of industrial organisations with their cooperation. Sakarya University of Applied Sciences is rapidly increasing its cooperation network and realizing mutual works by signing collaboration protocols with many universities. As a shareholder of Sakarya Synergy Team, the university does significant works in many important fields of the city, such as education, employment, industrialization and fair organizations. The university which protects, develops all the riches and national values of the surrounding land and carries them to the future in the light of science. The university, which works with its academic staff as students who are experienced, active and productive in process management, having career planning in applying skills. The university that integrates skills with knowledge. Sakarya University of Applied Sciences.
Thank you to Mr. Serdar for your help, for your trailer of SUAS, our university. And now, so I leave the word to our SUAS rector, Professor Dr. Mehmet Sarıbıyık. The word is yours, Mehmet.
Okay,
Hocam.
thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, dear Rector, dear keynote speakers, dear Chair of the Symposium, dear academician and guests. Good morning, good afternoon, salam, and hello from Sakarya University of Applied Science. My sincere greetings and regards to you. I am so happy to be with you for 6th International Conferences on Technology Changing Future and Sustainable Development Goals. But I'm again so sorry that the meeting is again on the internet due to the pandemic. I hope the next meeting will be face-to-face in a wonderful place of somewhere else of the world. Nevertheless, I wish the conference to be successful and productive.
Greetings of the day, everyone. Today, I, Astha Gupta, is present in front of you all to moderate this great conference. I will like to thank Rashmi Gujarati ma'am to give me this great opportunity. First, I like to call upon Dr. Asena Bostas. Her main fields of work are well. I must say it's a beautiful place.
Ashta, director is talking now.
Okay. Sure,
you can going on after his speech. Thank you so much for your moderation.
Sure,
and now we are listening Mehmet Sarıbıyık. Thank you.
Tamam. Can I continue? It's okay?
Please, okay. My rector. Please.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, because she came here to introduce you and she came here to welcome you first of all.
No
so
problem.
On behalf of Astha, I welcome Professor Dr. Mehmet Sarıbıyık. He is a rector of Sakarya University of Applied Science. And this conference is hosted by Rector Professor Dr. Mehmet. And today he is going to enlighten us related with the technology, how it is changing. So we welcome Director. Please proceed.
Thank you very much, Professor Rashmi. Okay, I will continue to my speech. I wish this conference to be successful and productive. I should state that it is a great privilege for my university to be part of this international organization. As Sakarya University of Applied Science, we are constantly encouraging our academicians to participate and support such scientific activities. I hope the conference will be beneficial for the participants and to those who are engaged throughout the world. I would like to thank the organizing and all other committees and each member for their huge effort in the conference. Today, I will try to inform you about the understanding of future technologies by using +1 education model for practical skills system developed by academicians and technical staff from the Sakarya University of Applied Science. Universities are the institution to add value to the humanity and guide to the future of their stakeholders by producing information, technology, and service with the universal qualification. As you may also well know that there are 3 basic and essential tasks of the universities. These are to educate and train the students, to conduct researches and create innovative technologies and contribute to the society and humanity. As you may well know that the way from knowledge to design, from design to production, and from production to marketing, one of the main rules of the universities are to provide the qualified people. Everything starts with human, including all these parameters. Everything starts with humans and is shaped by qualified people and applied to the life. Therefore, the qualified people played and will play key and critical role for the long journey of the human being in history. In a real life, we have a strange solution, or you could say paradox. While one side is talking about employment, employees look for qualified people. One of the main positive results of universities is to provide the qualified people for locally and internationally available industrial organization. Therefore, the aim is to prepare the young people for life and train them as a qualified people according to the requirement of the world of industry by providing them with knowledge, ability, positive behavior, the co-work and group works habit. These processes are mainly guided by the motivation of the students created by the higher education at the university environment. As Richard Branson said, you don't learn how to work by following the rules. You learn it by doing and falling over. In this same way, no matter how much you theoretically ride a bicycle as described, you cannot learn it without practicing it by yourself. The actual learning start with practice. This may be regarded as a golden rule. What Confucius did say, if I hear, I will forget. If I see, I will remember. If I do, I will learn. If you look at the learning pyramid approaches, while some of the modalities are described as positive learning, the other are called active learning. One of the most highly encouraged type of the active learning is learn by doing and teaching with 90% contribution to the learning pyramid. It is so thought to be effective because it inspires students to work like a professional in the work environments. If you look at the practical skills, those are internship, practical professional practice like applied courses or workplace practice. If we look at the professional practice in detail, we can say that there are two main categories. First one is applied courses, includes laboratories, workplaces, and other applied courses. The second one, workplace practice, includes the actives that the students work as employee candidate of the workplace. By considering all these requirements and motivation of the students, universities must find a way to maximize the benefits that can be obtained from the better and effective education for their students. The question still remains is, how this goal can be achieved in the most effective and efficient way. Right. Sakarya University of Applied Science, we believe that we had a very good answer for this question. The answer is to educate the students throughout the cooperation with industrial world by using +1 education model. With this structure, education curriculum in all technical and social program of Sakarya University of Applied Science is designed to let the students stay 1 term full-time in industry to get the practical training as arranged. This collaboration results in strong synergy for the students, academicians, and business world. The aim of the +1 education model is to train students to be qualified with application skills, which is indispensable for the industrial and business world. In line with this goal it is aimed to prepare and educate, train young people as qualified staff together with the business world required by the sector. With this frame, the students could get the chance to follow up the technological developments, understand the organization structure, transform the theoretical knowledge into the practical skills, establish the work experience and work discipline, gain teamwork habit, increase the knowledge and experience. Model was designed to be improved according to the needs of the changing world. Therefore, the survey are applied to the students, responsible instructors, and workplace representatives to get the satisfaction levels measured at the end of each semester. These surveys are aimed to determine the strength and weakness, the points to the improve, and some statistical information such as sectoral distribution, preferred area, the location of the firms, etc. According to survey results, an increasing satisfaction trend was obtained in the annual basis from year to year. Satisfaction in the students increased from 72% to 94%, while employees increased to 82% to 89%, and teaching staffs to 83% to 89%. This indicates that +1 education model was gained appreciation. When we look at the development and dissemination cycle of the model, all stakeholders need to fulfill their roles. We should remember that the applied education model cycle can be realized with the cooperation of the university and the business world. This slide is actually the general sum of the today's presentation. The outcomes of the +1 education model can be categorized under 5 scopes. First one is infrastructure. The model allows the partners to follow up and improve the current technology by working together. Universities also get the opportunities to use the firm's infrastructures. Second element is related with the students. The students joining the project get the practical skills and work experience before graduation. This helps them to be much more qualified when graduate and find job easier. As far as teaching staff are concerned, they become active partners of the research and development project throughout the cooperation with the business world. As for the programs, updates curriculums throughout the requirements of the business world and those educating students with oriented necessary of business world. As for business world starts to enjoy having a huge pool of qualified personnel. They provide the physical equipments and working environment. Universities provide educated manpower. This collaboration results in strong synergy for the benefits of humanity. The firms are now much more eager and thirsty to the idea of working with universities. This idea is sparing and strong partnership are being started. Thanks to this cooperation can get their practical solution orientation answers much more efficiency and effectively to problems that they have. Thank you very much for your joining and listening.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing such wonderful and thoughtful presentation with us. It was an honor to have you here. Now I would like to welcome Dr. Rashmi Gujrati ma'am to address all the speakers. Professor Dr. Rashmi Gujrati is a professor and dean at City University. She is a researcher, teacher educator, administrator, and whatnot. She has managerial skills in direction of achieving goals of success to stature the academic community and demonstrates ample credibility for educational leadership, strategic thinking, team building, and resources development, for research and consulting activities with emphasis on entrepreneurship skills, contributing towards the development of the society. She has a 30 years experience in teaching. Her teaching areas are international trade, finance, export and import management, business environment, Indian economy, entrepreneurship, organization behaviors, and much more. She has significantly contributed to enhancing management understanding by participating in over 90 management conferences, symposia, and seminars, workshops, FDPs, EDPs, by chairing technical sessions and delivering the plenary and invited talks at national and international conferences. She has about 70 papers published in international journals and 40 papers in national journals and various chapters in books. She is a life member of Indian Commerce Association, Indian Accounting Association, Indian College Principals Association. She is regulatory board member, Scientific and Review Committee, Advisory Board, Common Ground Research Networks University of USA, and editor of Tradepreneur Academic Platform, Southampton, UK, and member of various board and committees. I warmly welcome you, ma'am. The platform is all yours.
Thank you very much, Asta, inviting me. And good day, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. It's my pleasure on behalf of Tradepreneur Global Academic Platform. I welcome to all dignitaries, those who are joined here from nook of the corner of the world. I would like to welcome Professor Dr. Mehmet. He is a rector of Sakarya University of Applied Science. I welcome Professor Abdullah. He is a general manager from EHSIM corporate sector, Ankara, Turkey. I welcome Dr. Dabata Chaudhary. He is an associate professor of entrepreneurship and COO in True Feedback, UK. I welcome our chief guest, Professor Dr. Ramesh Chaudhary. He is a vice chancellor of Venkateshwar Open University from India. I welcome Professor Burhan. He is a faculty of agriculture, Academic University, Antalya. I welcome Professor Dr. Adrina. He is a professor of marketing, University of Craiova, Romania, and all the dignitaries and participants, those who have joined here in this session. Our conference hot topic is technology changes future. Due to technology, we are getting a lot of things. In the pandemic situation, we have faced a lot of things. First, I would like to invite everybody and I would like to show one presentation because This conference is hosted by Sakarya University of Applied Science. So earlier we were going to visit Sakarya, but due to pandemic, we all are here in the online platform. So I think that we should have to visit Turkey. So here I'm showing you little video of Turkey. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Baroda Sporting Goods. इंडियन लिखा है, अच्छा, पर बेचते तो सिर्फ बड़ौदा।
Stop कैसे करूँ?
It is a problem with the screen.
Yes,
Okay, now
I'm facing problem to stop. क्या पूछूं, मैं तो फंस गई.
Dr. Rashmi, you can close the tab. Playing video. YouTube video.
Close the YouTube tab.
Close the YouTube tab.
क्या करूं मैं?
Dr. Rashmi, please close the YouTube tab. Dr. Rashmi, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'd like to thank the Professor Rashmi. I hope next meeting will be in Turkey, in Sakarya or in Istanbul, somewhere else, to see the good places and wonderful places. I invite all of you in Turkey, in Sakarya, in Istanbul.
Yeah, I'm facing some problem due to technical.
Yes, you are having some problem. Just I'm just filling up the gap.
Yes, but okay. Let I start my speech from here. And
the music is very good. You cannot stop that music because it's nice music in Turkey.
No
so
problem. Okay,
you are not stopping.
Yeah, our conference have a hot topic in the technological changes, and we can understand that due to technology we will face lot of problem also. So technology is changing our future. It is a great example in 2019 when we are grabbed by the pandemic, and when the pandemic has been started, so whole world was come in the lockdown, and due this period, and everybody has adopted the technology, and due to technology every sector has been changed. Technology has a power. We can see that we human being can do lot of things with the technology. With the technology, I try to take everybody for the visit of the Turkey, but I faced problem and I was not able to close it and come back on my platform. So technology is changing in every sector. Nowadays, artificial has grabbed everything, and everything has been gone through the artificial intelligence. And people are trying to move there, and we are going to start our life through that. So we have a privilege to having a technology nowadays. And with the technology, it is easier and to rethink the way we go about our daily life. The technology were already uncovered and used to have paved the technology for us to innovate further. Technology is changing day by day. The future always feel like running late. Human imaginations work harder than human enterprises. But at any given movement, scientists and engineers are redesigning future technology, and the world around as in big and small way. We don't realize it that it is abnormal, but it has been adopted in each and every sector. It is a broad computing, medicine, communication, material science. So nowadays, we all have to learn technology, and technology is building a wall instead of bridge. We need to take responsibility for our digital future. So today I welcome to all of you, all the speakers in our international conference, and we are learning here how technology is changing and how we are facing the problem, but
then also we are doing hard work and we are trying to adjust in this new technology. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for a wonderful welcome session. Now, I would like to welcome Professor Dr. Adriana. She is a professor at University Craiova. She is a Romanian ambassador of AGRH, president of the Regional Commission of Experts Central. I welcome you, ma'am. The platform is all yours.
Thank you very much for inviting me today to be part in this event. And I want to thank you, my friend Rajni Gujarati, and to rector of the University of Sakarya University, Professor Mehmet. And I'm so pleased to see you that the before two presentation put the people in the middle of our life, because we are so important as people. And also the second, the presentation of Rajmi, relate the people with technology. As we know, today it's a very difficult period that started last year, generated by COVID-19 pandemic crisis. And for this reason, I will try to explain you what is happened in our world today, around the world, because how you will see, the COVID-19 crisis, it's not only a simple crisis, it's a complex and complementary set of crises. We have economic and financial crisis, political crisis, humanitarian crisis, and also social crisis. All these crises are generated not only by COVID-19, it's generated by a lack of synchronization of our life, our political field, our economic relationship. Also, and not in the last place, social and interrelational crisis generated by lack of communication between us. We have seen that in last period, communication between us was only by technology. Little time we spend with our family, with our friends, because of fear of COVID-19. For these reasons, I explain you the relationship between the dispersal of responsibilities and COVID-19 crisis. First of all, dispersal of responsibilities, it's a concept that I developed since in the last 14 years, and I publish many papers, and also I present some results to European Parliament 5 years ago. And we continue to develop this concept because I observe that it's a source of our crisis. Dispersal of responsibility is emphasized by the diversity of institutions that address the same issue. For example, related to COVID-19 crisis, it's involved World Health Organization, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, United Nations Organization, International Labour Organization, and governments. All this, and it's not limited to this, all these institutions are related to problems that should be solved during this COVID-19 crisis. But this organization regard the problem of COVID-19 differently. For example, we have first level, international institution. They elaborate regulation, guidelines, procedure, principles, but all these regulations should be applied at national level. It's very difficult, and it's very short time to involve this regulation very quickly in national legislation. And for this reason, sometimes the decision-making process, it's not so good, it's not timely. And we have the third level. We have corporation, organization, public and private, that should put in practice international and national regulations that is very hard for them to be timely with this regulation. And the fourth level, community, people, as Mr. Rector said before, because community don't understand what is happened today, don't understand why we should or not should do something. And for this reason, all these elements, all these levels of dispersal of responsibilities generate corruption, indifference, and neglected. For this reason, we have some examples. For example, corruption for acquisition with some equipments. Indifference of the people related to vaccination or not vaccination, taking some risk or not taking this risk. And not in the last time, neglected. We are not so aware about our healthy. For this reason, I will try to explain what has happened with dispersal of responsibility on international institutions. And I start since beginning of this crisis. At the beginning, President Trump, in the place at the time of starting this crisis last year, criticizes World Health Organization because he thought that this organization do not pay enough attention to this virus. And also, he accused this organization for taking too long to recognize that the virus was easily transmitting between humans and particularly to utter the word pandemic. And for this reason, at the beginning of the crisis, the most important organization to fight with this crisis was very hard criticized. Second, the principal interest. Many international organizations, power governments, do not converge with the ethical principle of the agenda of World Human Organization. In our case, this organization does not make decision because the task is not its responsibility, and the other agent have the duty of the task. You see, at the beginning, some organizations that it's namely here agent don't make decision because they thought it's not their responsibilities. This is a consequence of dispersal of responsibility. Who, when, and why it's a responsibility to make some decision. The agent considers that the principal wants to transfer the risk and not empower. That is very important. Agent, international organization, considers that governments are responsible for their people. And it's not possible that governments transfer the risk from their responsibility to international organization without empowering this organization. Because transferring the risk without empower, it's without effect, because don't take into account the decision of this organization, international organization. For this reason, some problems at a national level in different countries were related with this hard problem. The source of information for this decision are several and contradictory. We have seen since the beginning, we were informed by internet, social network, mass media, power organization in our country. And for this reason, the people were very, very disturbed and confused what is good and what is not good in this crisis. And for this reason, we have few elements. Our agent attitude toward the risk, the organizational change as a result of decision-making process. Some organization fails in the battle with this COVID-19. The other organization don't know what is important now at this moment. They make some prevision. First wave, second wave, third wave, without taking into account what is important to people for avoid this new wave and new COVID. The role ambiguity between agents, that is very important. Nowadays, it's a lot and a hard ambiguity between responsible to battle with this COVID-19. And also, I mentioned before, several contradictory sources of information. That it's not only mass media, social network, but also some legislation, some elements that are contradictory, and it's not the same in every country. For this reason, we have a triple bottom line related to agency theory, dispersal of responsibility, information asymmetry, that it's a source of new research fields for every scholars.
लेकिन यार ये सोल पास तेरे क्या आज उस वांदे से क्या
For this reason, I evaluate some impact. First of all, very important, economic impact. We have production and unemployment, supply chain and market disruptions, financial markets. We know around the world, many countries have a problem with financial problem, and their national money it's in decline, and corporate bond markets are underdeveloped. After economic impact that it's around the world, no matter the country, we have social impact. That is very important. We have a racial crisis because nowadays we have seen in United States, in European Union, we have many crises generated by minority and also by refugee crisis that it's so hard day by day. After social impact and economic impact, I have some solutions for diminishing the negative effect, because it's not possible to eradicate negative effects. We need reorganization of the international, regional, national, and the local organization. We need to put together in one or two organization or institution the same responsibilities, not to diffusion the responsibility between many organizations, because every organization will thought that will be the responsibility of the other. Also, we have to take into account to elaborate common legislation for organization and for peoples, because it's not possible to make different legislation and to elaborate different act for every period and for every region. For this reason, we have to evaluate the ethical character of philanthropy, because nowadays this ethical character of philanthropy, it's not really related with sustainable development. Sometimes it's related to corruptions. And we have a lot of examples related between philanthropy and corruption. And if you heard in the last day about the lady from United States that using technology related philanthropy with corruption, and she promoted corruption at a high level. And after a few years, she proves that it's not real a philanthropy, and she don't use the technology for helping people. She used technology for having a lot of money. Every day, our life is full of negative examples related with the relationship between philanthropy and corruption. And for this reason, we need and we should to be and to pay attention what is happened behind this philanthropy. Also, it's very important that the sanction to be according to the severity of the socially irresponsible activity of the organization. Because since the beginning of the humanity, we have seen that only the punishment gives a very good and positive results, and the people take into consideration ethical behavior if they know that will be very hard punished. If it's permissive, the people don't take into account the permission of this legislation. And the other solution, the registration should to demarcate the coordinated market and the liberal market. That is very important, because without this mechanism, our financial market will be very, very hard undeveloped. We should to enhance the transparency and the visibility of national and international institutions, because without visibility, the people don't take into account the punishment. And in the last but not the least, we should to encourage the company disclosure of social and environmental information, because not only economic information are very important for people, but also social and environmental information are very important, because we can see if some companies that are very important pay attention to people, pay attention to environment. For example, in Romania, in the last year, we have a big problem with deforestation, because very important Austrian companies deforest our forest, and a lot of region has environmental problem due to this unethical behavior of some very powerful European company. For this reason, I want to recommend you, as Mr. Rector said before, pay attention to people, because people are very important in our life. Without people, either technology, either government, either companies don't exist and don't have profit. Thank you very much for your attention, and thank you again for invitation to present you my opinion related to COVID-19 crisis. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for a wonderful presentation. Now, I would like to invite today's chief guest, Professor Dr. Ramesh Chaudhary. Professor Ramesh Kumar Chaudhary is Vice Chancellor of Venkateshwar Open University. Earlier, he was a Vice Chancellor of APJ Shimla University, Shimla. He is former founder, Vice Chancellor of Sage University, Indore. Earlier of it, he has been Director of Engineering Colleges and Group of Institutions for a long time. He has completed Master of Science in Engineering. He has further done his PhD in Computer Science and Engineering and postdoc from United Kingdom. He has organized and edited the proceedings of 11 international conferences in association with IEEE, IE, CSI, IETE, Springer, and InderScience. We warmly welcome you, sir. The platform is all yours.
Thank you. Thank you. And namaskar. Good morning, good afternoon. Salam to all the participants. Warm greetings to all the participants in August Intellectual Academia associated for this international conference. It's a matter of broad privilege for me to be the chief guest of the inaugural session of the international conference, discussing the changes in the technology. And we all are here last another 3 days. This conference is going to have a discussions, paper presentations, and a view from the experts, where we will analyze the changing trends of the technology. And I am very happy that at least earlier we were just welcoming the technology and understanding the power of the technology. Today, now we are analyzing the trends of the changes in the technology, which is changing at a very rapid speed. My dear ladies and gentlemen, we all know that this pandemic, which is this civilization has faced after a century, after 100 years, and which was known as a COVID-19, but the real faces we have seen in 20 and 21 of this COVID-19. And this COVID-19 has given a lot of learning lessons to the human civilizations and to all the sectors of the organizations, and especially educations as well. I remember when this pandemic we have faced in March 2020, and where the all the educational institutions were closed because of the the problem of the spread of the virus. And then it was a day of darkness before the education sector. But all of a sudden, we have realized that though we all were in the lockdown stage, we were inside the home, and we didn't have a chance to actually the real life of extending learning and teaching practices. But very soon, within a week or 2 weeks, I will like to say you when we have realized that technology can help us in this time of darkness. And then lot of innovations, lot of research has been done, and then technology has come up as a alternate. And you know that by the June 2020, lot of new solutions have come up before us, and then things have started moving on. And then we have realized that the virtual campus can also be a possibilities in case of pandemic or in case of these kind of the challenges which the civilization have faced. But I will like to, because see, all of you, previously the Honorable Rector, Professor Mohammed, I'm very thankful to Professor Mohammed and Sukaria University of Applied Sciences to host this conference and to give us opportunity and a platform. Of course, we have not been able to be in Turkey and face-to-face to host this organization, this conference. But still, we are very thankful that Sukaria University of Applied Science is extending all kind of support for research and development. And I have just now listened the scholar from the Romania, because I am also associated with Romania very closely. Couple of times I was in Constanta, Romania, and Bucharest for the conference, which I am the permanent member of the Romania Academy Science also. So that is another thing. So what we have seen, that everybody is talking about the technology and pandemic and the rapid changes, and then the challenges also has been created. Although the challenges has been met by the technology, but the overuse of the technology has also created various kind of the challenges, which is very natural. Everything has its side effects, everything has its pros and cons. But nevertheless, technology has come up as a hope. And what I was trying to make you understand, that I'm a computing guy. Basically, I'm a computer scientist. And I have very closely seen the changes in the technology as a solutions for extending learning and teaching practices. I remember when we have first time we have faced, and I was very disappointed, and I was not knowing which way we can save the interest of the students, safeguard the learning and teaching practices. But very soon we realized that there are the means through which we can extend and we can save the interest of the students. And then later on, you might have been seen that everything has been digitized, everything has been, I mean to say, a lot of innovation has been done. And then we have seen that even the examinations, proctoring, and so many things, I don't want to discuss all these things, but every day new apps are coming, new kind of the solutions, new kind of the ways technology is presenting I mean to say, for the especially education sector, and same with the I mean to say other sector also, for medical sciences also, for service industries also. So many things have been done in the form of technology. So this is a nice platform where actually we are discussing and going to analyze the technology and how it is really going to help us, and what are the precautions, because I already told you that over using of technology has also its own impact. And that's why we remember that this conference was supposed, and we have come into the virtual mode because of the problem again re-erupted. I am very impressed to see the Sukaria University of Applied Science has innovated very much in a nice way, and I look forward to sometimes to see the university, because it was very impressive presentation by the Professor Mohammed, and he has shown that how various kind of infusion of the technology with the education has been done. So I must appreciate and congratulate Professor Mohammed the fine use of the technology for the betterment of the students, and understanding the coming job opportunities also by truly producing the true professionals who can meet the challenges of the corporate. I am very thankful to Professor Rasmi Gujarati. She is a wonderful lady, and she is a very much research-oriented lady, and she is taking so much pain. And she is the only lady and instrumental. Because of her, we all are here, and today we are discussing this thing. So I congratulate Rasmi Gujarati for organizing this conference, and wish a very good luck for the success of this conference. And I am sure that this conference will meet its objective, and definitely will come up with the conclusion and with certain recommendations for academia, for the industries, and for research scholars for the way the technology can be taken care and it can be used for the betterment of the civilization, for betterment of human. So once again, I must extend all of you the good wishes, and pray to the God, Allah, that you all are going to be safe in this challenging time. And definitely, inshallah, we will meet once again where we will, in a physical mode, we will face to face, we will have this international conference sometimes in Turkey. And I wish that this can be done one time in Turkey and one time in India also, because earlier I have been told I was ready to host the conference in my universities. But anyhow, we are here virtually connected. So I must congratulate, and I thank you to especially Professor Mohammed for giving us wonderful opportunity. And I'm really impressed to see your presentations and the various, I have seen that the use of technology and then innovative courses you have formulated for the betterment of the students. So I look forward sometimes to see you, and thank you once again, and wish you all good wishes and for the conference successful. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. It's an honor for all of us to listen to you today. Next, we have next speaker. I would like to call upon Dr. Abdullah. Dr. Abdullah was born in Konya in 1964. He completed his secondary education in Konya Devrim Secondary School and Konya Art School Electronics Department. After completing his BA in the year 1985 and MA in the year 1988 studies at Ghazi University, he received his PhD in the year 1993 from Sussex University, Department of Computer Engineering, England. It's an honor to have you here, sir. The platform is all yours. Sir, you are on mute.
Hocam,
Sir, please unmute yourself.
Yeah. Can you hear now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. As you have just stated, I've been in the higher education sector for more than 30 years. And for nearly 4 years now, starting from 2018, I've been working in the Turkish defense industry as the CEO of an electronic warfare company. So my position is in a way interesting because, as I said before, I was involved in the higher education sector for so long, and now I found a chance to apply my knowledge that I have acquired during my studies, during my teachings in the industry. The title of the conference is The Technology Changing the Future. Up to now, the speakers have focused on the effect of the technology in the education, especially in this COVID-19 pandemic, its effect and usage in the higher education sector, the improvements that is being made, like distant education, online education, like the conference that we are doing on the Zoom now. They are all effects of the technology and the usage of the technology in different sectors. And the speakers have focused on the economic effects and humanity-related effects and so on. My focus is going to be in the defense industry, especially electronic warfare industry. So I will say a few words on these subjects, since my working area in my field is now confined to this subject. When we speak about the future, it's in a way, it's fortune telling. 25 years ago, when someone mentioned cellular phones, GPS, map algorithms using GPS, they were all science fiction. But today, they are all the truth of our daily life, and we are using it without any hesitation. So, but when we speak about the future now, we are using the possibility of the scientific achievements and the possibility of these achievements having effect on our lives in the future, like the technologies that we use today, how they affect our lives compared to the past is going to be a differentiation between today and tomorrow. The history of the mankind is full of struggles and conflicts between themselves. I mean, it can be considered either as groups fighting with each other or countries rivaling each other. So the conflict solving mechanism between those groups or nations were either arose and bows, swords, knives, and similar instruments. But today we are using modern war machines developed for this purpose. Interestingly, when you have these instruments, either modern war instruments that we use or have today, or the old technologies or instruments that we have had in the past, is making you a war-ready nation or war-ready group. This normally you expect it to serve towards making or causing conflicts. But interestingly, if you are more ready for the conflicts, then it is stimulating towards peace. I mean, war-ready countries do not fight with each other. So in a way, war readiness is contributing towards the peace of the countries. In a way, I just see this in this way, as I just mentioned. And we see that the compatible nations, in terms of the in terms of the technologies they have acquired before, the compatible nations don't fight with each other. They don't involve with any struggle between themselves. So if you are ready for the war, that means that you are contributing towards the peace in the world. So therefore, this is probably why the industry producing war machines is called defense industry. It's not called attack industry or war industry, because your preparedness for the war is helping you to maintain the peace in the region that you are living or in the world altogether. This is probably why I justify my work in this industry as a peaceful and just work. At least in my mind, this is the case. So if we talk about, as I mentioned at the beginning, I am working in the field of electronic warfare. If I just describe what the electronic warfare is with a few examples and a few words, it is a war between the signals, not the swords or modern war machines, tanks or fighters firing missiles towards each other. It's not that. It is the war between the signals. In this fight between the signals, deception, misguiding is the keywords. You either try to hide your platform from the radars or detectors they are trying to catch you. This is one point of focus. The other point is you misguide the radars and other instruments about the real coordinates, the physical coordinates of your platform. So it is misguiding or deceiving your enemy with the signals rather than physically. So if you ask how these technologies are developed and what is the inspiration behind these technologies, I may give you an example clarifying this question. Again, it is inspired by the nature, like most of the technologies that the humanity have developed, these technologies, electronic warfare technologies, are inspired by the techniques or by the phenomena that is found in the nature. I will give you an example of bats. You know, the bats, they live, they hunt in the evening. Normally in daytime, you can't see them, but they don't have a very strong eye. Despite that, they are very successful in flying in the night, catching their prey in the air while flying. When the scientists have examined the technique that they are using, they found out that the bats are producing a very high frequency noise in their throat, and they are sending this noise towards the targets or towards the environment that they have been in. And the responsive noise, the return of this noise, is collected with their big ears. And they hear this noise and they coordinate their movement accordingly. Basically, this is sonar. And the scientists have also found out that, you know, sometimes thousands of or even millions of bats live in a cave in the darkness, but when they move, when they fly, they don't touch each other. And this technique prevents them disturbing each other. And when they examined how this could be possible, they found out that their voice that has been produced in their throat is unique to them, like a fingerprint. So they don't mix with each other. And this noise, if only replicated, what they did was they tried to, they copied the noise from the bat, and they used that exact noise to deceive the bat, and the bat tried to land on an imaginary rock. So this was only possible with using its own noise that is produced by it. Likewise, each radar can only be deceived with its own signal. Like the bats, each radar works with some certain signals. So to be able to deceive that radar, you need to know the exact frequency that this radar is working in. In other words, the more you know is the better in the field of electronic warfare. If I may give you an example, trying to clarify the usage of these signals in the battlefield or in different platforms. For example, as the company that I am working for, we are producing a radio frequency-based decoy. This decoy is a small ammunition, is a small missile fired by the fighter planes. When this fighter plane is subjected to a missile attack. So if the missile is coming towards you, it means that this missile is constantly sending you some electronic signals, and your radar cross-section, the aircraft radar cross-section, returns a certain amount of this signal. So this signal, when it reaches the missile is guided towards this jet aircraft. So when we fire this radio frequency-based decoy, it sends back exactly what this missile is expecting from your fighter jet. So if you fire a few of them, instead of targeting one jet, the missile finds itself in between 5 or 6, even more jets on its way. So it startles, it confuses, because there was just one plane it was targeting. Now you have 3 or 4 or even more fighter jets. So you deceive this missile. So the missile, instead of hitting your aircraft, the missile goes and explodes in near one of those RF decoys. So when we talk about the future, we will see similar technologies operating in different platforms, namely drones, unmanned vehicles operating in the air, in the sea, and in the land. Most of the platforms will use similar technologies to deceive the enemy signals. With these in mind, we will see that more and more unmanned vehicles trying to solve the conflicts instead of the manned aircrafts or seacraft and or other land crafts. We are all living in a technologically enhancing society, and in most of the cases, these technological enhancements make the life easier for us. We are using robots in the productions, and we will be using robots maybe in the defense industry as well in the future. And with the introduction of AI into these systems, namely robots, we will see more and more platforms using AI rather than human brain or human perception, or humans are just going to be behind the curtains, trying to guide the mechanisms, which is the operation of these instruments. And in the future, we will see these unmanned platforms beating the modern technological systems that we are using today. For instance, we have jet aircrafts. The most modern ones, the most advanced ones are called 5th generation aircrafts. And the unmanned ones equipped with the AI technologies will only cost about 20% of what they are, what the real cost is today. Therefore, they will be more cheaper. But they will be equipped with similar technologies, and in the future, they will make these platforms obsolete, because if they are cheaper, if they are doing the same job, the people will prefer to use them instead of today's technologies. Keeping in mind that 20 years ago, when we speak about the drone technology, we were actually speaking about the toys producing factories for the kids. But today, it's evolved so rapidly, and the technology is helping us in many areas, not just in the defense industry, in other industries as well. Again, we are currently talking about 5th generation aircrafts developed for using stealth technologies, which makes them invisible to the radars, with smaller cross sections, with special paints developed to absorb the electronic signals so that they are not visible by the radars. My expectation is that in the future, this will evolve towards the signal-based falsification or jamming mechanisms. I mean, the aircraft will be there, but the platforms which are trying to find or capture this aircraft position will be falsified by different jamming, electronic jamming or falsification mechanisms. Countries which developed technologies to either falsify GPS signals or cancel them altogether is now in hand. In modern wars, this is happening. So one might ask if the future is holding cheaper technologies, which is accessible to many people and widely available, will it not make these technologies reachable to some extreme groups or small, dangerous groups will get hold of it and use it against other people? Yes, this is a possibility, but I believe that there will always be superior technologies, and these superior technologies will be in safe hands. So hopefully, in that terms, the future will not bring us a more dangerous environment compared to today. If I may give you one example regarding to what I said at the beginning, considering the countries which have the nuclear technology, which is the biggest threat against humanity and mankind, and the countries rivaling each other, we see that they don't fight with each other. If they have the equal technologies, they don't fight because they know that it will be a complete destruction for both sides. Therefore, as I said, war readiness or having compatible technologies between the rival or countries which do not like each other, in fact, if they have the similar technologies, they will avoid to involve any war or any dispute between each other. To summarize, my expectation from the future or the technology affecting our future is that future will be it's going to be for better affecting our lives, not for worse, with the right choices and right technologies within the hands of the right people. I would like to thank you for listening and hope the best for you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your insightful thoughts. Next, we have with us our eminent speaker of the day, Dr. Dababrata Chaudhary. He is a senior lecturer at Angela Ruskin University and CEO in True Feedback Application Technologies. He is the associate editor for the Review of Applied Socio-Economic Research Journal and an editorial board member for International Journal of Technology Intelligence and Planning and co-editor in International Journal of Entrepreneurship and Management Inquiries. He has published over 30 papers in referred academic journals, conference proceedings, book chapters, and magazine articles. We warmly welcome you, sir. The platform is all yours.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you very much for your introduction, and thanks for Saqqara University and Rector Mohammad Sareboyuik and all organizing committee and obviously Professor Resmi Gujrati and also my all colleagues who I meet many times in this platform or other platform. It is my pleasure to be here today, and it is actually very morning in UK, but I'm very happy to say a few words, and I'll present a few slides if you allowed, not taking more than 10 minutes. So don't worry. I know sometime now everybody is very much rushing to listen in the good things and not to spend too much time. So if I can share with my screen, I think that will be good. Am I audible? Can you see me or see my, yeah?
Yes, sir, you are audible and your
Okay.
PPT is available.
Yes, your screen is visible.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So if I can, 1 minute, okay. So just 1 second, I'm trying to make it smaller. Okay, so I'm sure that all the rector and others, colleagues, obviously talking about the pandemics and what we are actually doing in terms of COVID-19. And now I think actually, obviously still the pandemic in ongoing, different variants is coming, but what we are doing with the education and how this will be actually make us more clear future, especially to talk about the technology interruption. And today with this platform, especially this conference, also talking about the technology intervention and how technology can make more future contribution and connectivity for, three way, especially education, business, and global market. So in that case, what we are trying to see about the smart learning and education, how the challenge is actually at the moment, and what is the preparation, and how we can actually be ready for the future. So in terms of smart learning, and as we understood, like in 5-10 years ago, we are all actually thinking to the face-to-face teaching is the most important, and we don't care actually online teaching or blended learning and so on. But if we see the shifting of the education system, and especially in current environment, we saw, or we are actually doing a lot of work which are basically online. And one of the example is this conference. If it's not actually online, it is very difficult to people moving and meeting each other in this environment. However, we can see that how we adapted those technology and what is the consequences, as all we understood that obviously it is a kind of cost project. However, without that, we cannot survive. So we have to be thinking about minimize and maximize our proficiency, effectiveness, and the obviously outcomes. So in that regard, what do we see that what is the actually condition of necessary smart learning, especially what we mean by a smart education, a smart classes, a smart technology, and then obviously a smart environment and policy. So these all are actually coming in here. If you look at it, how the mobile device, wireless communication, and actually the few minutes ago, I like the conversation from Professor, my PBS colleague, actually, the Abdullah, who is actually talking about the technology, AI, RFID. These are actually the coming now is a very, generic. In probably 10 years ago, this technology was invented and uses by different processes with the army or, governmental officers and all other sector. But now it is coming as educational educational tools, which we have to be use it. And especially as we can see, the cloud computing, Internet of Things, and everything we are doing, like in current environment, is everything is based on technology. So we have to be thinking about how smart we are, how we are clear about the uses of technology, and we have to be thinking about is the positive and negative about the uses of technology, and how we are actually getting benefited, and what is the reason we are actually choosing the best technology for our education sector or the university or the classroom. We have to be thinking about also then how it will be actually giving us a better picture for our student, for our community, and obviously at the government at the same time. So in regarding this thing, what are we actually talking about now? If you look at it, many university actually doing all those things, as you are all our educator, and we are all in the same line, especially to understand how we actually giving the best performance for our student, and how we can get those interactive work for our student, for our colleague, and the local community. So in this regard, in the last few months, obviously I've been actually few conference, and everybody talking about the technology application, but how we actually getting those technology, and what is the adaptability and social interaction. Obviously, one of our colleagues that talk about the today earlier, like in Romanian professor, that social impact, it is actually important that how we are introducing those technology, and what is the consequences is happening outside the university. does is actually related to the only the education, or it is actually related to the human in daily life, especially when students go back home, what is their outcome of this technology when they are using in the classroom. So in those things, actually, we have to make or observe closely to see how this collaboration make more interact and more outcome. Especially, we want to see if the student not in coming to the class, how they are actually spending their time, how they are using the technology, how we can actually make their study more motivated or making them more serious about the education. In theory, I'm sure all of you seen that yes, maybe people will join the classroom because the internet actually connecting from their mobile device or a smartphone and all sort of thing. But after that classes, how they spend the time, are they actually getting back to the real world, that they can understand that what is happening and so on. So in terms of collaboration, in terms of physical presence in the university and outside, it is a different platform. However, we have to think about how this platform can be developed. So one of the things we are talking about the simulation-based learning, because you have to lead the student for, probably every week we have in one class for one lecturer or one subject. So in coming back from until next week, we have to make them for, connection through the simulation game or simulation work, which we can observe, we can monitoring from the computer. And that will be, I think, making a student more interact, and then university can see there is a performance, there is a student collaboration, and getting some outcome from the education. So in terms of those things, what we are talking about, the challenges, it actually still we are in the uncertainty. We don't know actually what will be coming up in every day. At the moment, if you look at it in the UK, it is a really mess. We are in the different dilemma, especially this new COVID variants. So we are actually understood that we may again deglobalize from the world, because still people are not clearly understood whether they can travel, a student can come to the university. There is a lot of thinking, or not a lot of issues that we need to solve with. And I'm sure many countries at the moment actually doing same thing. So those challenges actually they're coming to the top management head, especially the university, who are actually running the university, or who are actually taking the decision to day by day. That will be the actually operational people's job. So in that case, we have to understand like in how we customize our need. What is the skill gap in the university or the business process that we need to be see in every day, and how this global marketplace is actually doing the other technology which we need to get an example. And obviously the regulation and compliance will be another things to sustainability, because if we buy system, if it doesn't work, or if we don't have a people to run it, then it will not be sustainable. So these are actually something we need to be understood for sustainable business model for the education. And regarding this thing, so what will be happening? Obviously, that's coming with the adaptation part, especially if you look at it, a lot of subject, especially we believe the technique or approach are changing because of online teaching and online or distance learning. We need to understand like how we actually adapt those curriculum, especially to changing the probably materials. If you look at it, some university, especially I'm talking in the UK, most of the validation process happening for 5 years. So if you look at it, if some courses or obviously module already validated for 5 years, in this particular time, it will be very difficult to change this. However, I think we need to be reintroduce the new norm to understand how a student can have more motivation. We can have more, adaptability with the student in this start of time of online teaching. So then people can have a more knowledge and skill in their hand, and then future can be more brighter. So coming with this, especially coming with those things, what is happening, how we actually look at the deglobalization. The reason of here, if you can see the technology acceleration is already there. We are using many technology, especially the example of today Zoom and all sort of thing. But we need to be also think about the infrastructure, which is very much difficult for many university or many countries to changing and spending a lot of money. And this will be actually coming from the demographic transition. And that is one of the issues that you need to be thinking about, how or where is your student are come from, how far, and what is the distance, and how we look at is the measurement of their collaboration and cooperation in terms of infrastructure of technology, how fast the technology is actually working in the rural area with the urban area and the city. So these are all actually need to be in the agenda or need to be carrying in the first place before we using any technology or any kind of software that we are using for the education. In that case, obviously, students also become a very confusing because they may thinking how they can prepare their work, how they can actually getting and more knowledge and skill. So in regarding this, regarding this balance for education with the student and teacher or the university, I think there is need to be a lot of discussion, a lot of changes, which is started in many universities or many countries. However, I think in the future will be a more changing and more things will come, which will be changing totally for normal teaching to the new norm or new new technology application and so on. So coming back to the two more slides I have here. Now, how we actually approaching those adapting to the new realities. We have to think about, like, obviously business and e-learning is coming together. University networking, we mean like, obviously we are doing networking, but we have to think about probably sharing of technology. So which will be the cheaper, and the few university may coming as a consortium. They can sharing the one technology and then sharing with the cost. That will be probably coming as a business reprocessing or redesigning, because some of the university or some of the technology will be very expensive or need to be actually uses by many users. So it will be helpful if they can collaborate, and networking will be also coming as a stronger. And based on that, obviously we have to be thinking of the stuff equipment necessity and how we handling continuous changing. And now if you look at the obviously 10-15 years of education structure or education history, we can see that obviously people dramatically change their character at the moment, because there is no need a general teaching approach. So we have to think about how we upgrading our skill and knowledge from every staff or every department, and how we can measuring this flexible workload. In some places it's very difficult. We have to be think about also coordination and cooperation of the work frame, especially the worldwide, what other countries doing best practice, so we can actually get the example from there. And then that it will be the one of the things we have to think about, how capability and obviously providing the learning environment, how we reviewing this thing, engaging the digital transformation, and the build of the effective partnership with the ecosystem. Especially nowadays, a lot of things are talking about the blockchain, cryptocurrency, and all sort of things. So how it will be actually helping for our education system or the university, and that will make the more ecosystem is clear and sustainable. In that case, obviously we have to be think about the more time. At the moment is everything is a rush. So I'm sure a lot of rector is sitting here, or a lot of decision maker. We don't need to be actually too much rush. We have to be think about what is actually coming up in few days time or few years time. That will be giving us a better service and better support, so we can improve our moral and ethical values, and we can work much better and making a more contribution towards the future environment, especially to understand that what is the reason we have to be use technology and how the technology will helping us, and making that all together. Obviously we are talking about like how a smart system actually concern or enhance our daily life, especially a smart education. We don't mean like it only technology can is still helping us, but we have to think about also generic technique teaching method, because think about if you don't have a technology, if in case technology will be stopped and may not working at all, how we can actually continue the class, how can we continue our daily work. So we have to be think about both in the blended or hybrid system. And that will be, I think, the new things will be coming up in future next 5 years. So we have to think about how these are helping and how we can adapt it ourselves in future environment. So that's all. Thank you very much. I think they will be giving the little introduction for the technologies intervention and collaboration. Hope we will work out with technology, but still we have to think about how we'll be in the normal without technology as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for this wonderful presentation. Now, I would cordially like to call upon Dr. Rashmi Gujrati ma'am for sharing some insightful thoughts with us and delivering the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, Astha. And again, it's my pleasure to giving me a chance to give a vote of thanks. I give a big thanks to Professor Dr. Ramesh Chaudhary, a Vice Chancellor of Venkateshwar University. He has enlightened us with the technology, that how technology has entered in each and every sector and how the education is running through the technology. Next, our speaker, Professor Abdullah, a big thanks. He has given us his precious time and focus on artificial intelligence, how technology is moving in each sector, how technology has adopted in our life. My thanks to Professor Adrina from Craiova University, Romania. He has enlightened with his presentation about the technology. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Dabata Chaudhary. He has given his time in early morning. He is here with us. Thank you very much. And you has focused a lot of things related with the technology and how to use in the education, how to focus on it. Thank you very much. My big thanks to all the speakers and all the attendees, those who have attended. Even my big thanks to Dr. Rakesh Kumar Yadav, Dr. R.K. Taylor, Dr. Hanita, and all other my friends, those who are the backbone of this platform. My special thanks to Professor Mehmet, Rector of Sakarya University, who has given this opportunity to run this conference and with the collaboration of Tradepreneur Global Academic Platform. As we know, and we have listened to all the speakers, that how technology has changing and how the technology will change in next 5 years, from the quantum computers and 5G in action to managing everything. AI, optimized manufacturing, even a new era of the computing. 5G will enhance the global economic and save the life. Artificial intelligence is entered in every sector. In last, with the conclusion of the topic of technology changes future, we can say that technology changed the world in the next 5 years. It is very exciting to see the pace and transformative potential of today's innovative technology being applied to solve the world's most pressing problems, such as filling a global and growing population, improving access to and quality of healthcare, and significantly reducing carbon to arrest the negative effects of climate change. The next 5 years will be see profound improvements in addressing this challenge as entrepreneurs, the investment community, and the world's largest enterprise research and development organization, those focus on developing solutions that will deliver tangible results. While the COVID-19 pandemic has provided a difficult lesson in just how our world is facing is today to human and economic turmoil, is that also The human economic turmoil has also perhaps for the first time in the history, the global collaboration, data, transparency, and speed at the highest level of government in order to minimize and immediate threat of the life to country. Even we were thinking that now the pandemic has been finished, all were thinking that we have taken the vaccination and now our university and colleges will be open. But again, we found that Omicron has entered. And again, we listen that another variant now means that as like generation increase, the COVID is also increasing day by day. And we all are becoming a habitual of the technology. It's true that technology is entering in our life and step by step we are using the technology, but we should ready to face the problem of the technology also. Because technology, we have seen in the starting in the conference, we thought that we will do like this, but what happened? That we were facing the problem. This is a technology. So we should be ready to face all the challenges, because with the technology, if we have an opportunity, so we have to face the challenges also. So with this, my big thanks to all the team members of the Sakarya University of Applied Sciences, my dear friend Dr. Ashina, who is also my supporter every time, my dear friend Dr. Dabata, who is always the supporter of with me every time, and all my dear friends. And special thanks to our guest speakers, and big thanks to Rector Professor Mehmet. He has given us a chance to organize this conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rashmi ma'am, for sharing such wonderful and knowledgeable thoughts with us. This marks an end to the first day of International Conference on Technology and Technology Changing Future. I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to Tradepreneur Global Academic Platform, UK, and Sakarya University. I would like to give special thanks to chief guests, eminent speakers, and attendees of the conference. Thank you so much.
Next, we will move to our technical session. So our next technical session will be start. Dr. Ashina, please.
Thank you for your all contribution for this conference. And next technical section will begin with in Istanbul time, I mean, 13:30. So let's go to our lunch, and after that we will be energetic and go on our technical sections. Thank you too much more everything, everyone. Thank you, and hope to see you the next section. Bye.
हाँ जी सर.